Chapter 13. Beneath the Ancient Oak. My conversation with Tornu from a couple of nights ago still echoes in my mind. Balance. It sounds so simple, yet feels so elusive, especially with what I now know. I spot Zolesh leaning against a tree as I make my way to the outskirts of the village, his eyes scanning the horizon. As I approach, he turns to me, a glint of excitement in his eyes that makes my stomach churn with both anticipation and dread.
Yoren,
He greets me, his voice low.
you ready for this?
Am I? The question gnaws at me. I think of Tornu's words about balance, of the myriad of possible risks that Zolesh might have planned. But then I remember the Council's secret plans, the unknown threats lurking beyond our borders. We need to do something. As ready as I'll ever be, I reply, trying to sound more confident than I feel. Zolesh nods, then leans in closer.
I been thinking. We not go at the border. We just trying to see if we can get to the source of your powers.
My heart skips a beat. This is it, the moment of truth. Do I tell him what I know? I have to. Zolesh, I start, my voice barely above a whisper. There's something you need to know. I overheard the Council. They're planning a secret mission beyond the borders. Something about new threats, organized groups. Sounds like they're at the border, maybe just beyond. But Dracoliths have never crossed into our territory before. Who knows if these other threats have begun crossing over as well? Zolesh's eyes widen, then narrow.
You sure about this? And what has it made them stay away before?
I nod, the weight of the secret finally lifting off my chest. They're worried, Zolesh, really worried. And they're keeping it from everyone. And I don't know. Tornu told me once that it's the Ancients' protection, but I don't finish the thought. I'm not entirely sure how to. If the Ancient Ones really are intervening, why would they not continue protecting our tribe? Are they not strong enough? Or worse yet, is Vortul involved? Is he disrupting whatever protection we've had for numerous generations? Zolesh's eyes narrow in thought.
You say them sending Timo the Best, yeah?
I nod, still uncertain. That's what I would assume. Ansel said he has some thoughts on who to send, but that's about it. A small, confident smile plays on Zolesh's lips.
Them good, maybe. But not like Sunatak Traka. My tribe, we live this life. We breathe it. Not Takakin, not even you best, Katrak like us.
His words give me pause. He's not wrong. I've seen firsthand how skilled he is in the forest.
And you, Yoren,
Zolesh continues, his gaze intense.
You say you seen the god's power, yeah? That it protected you?
I nod slowly. Yeah, but I can't control it. It just happens. Zolesh leans in, his voice low and urgent.
That's why we need to go. If the gods choosing you, then you the one shoulda go out there. Now you tribemen who the gods not choosing, not showing them powers ta.
Damn, I hadn't thought of it that way before.
Think, cousin, Zolesh presses. What if these powers come when you needin' them most? Out there, where the real danger be. We can learn things, see things that no one else can.
I feel a mix of excitement and fear coursing through me. But what about the Council's mission? We can't just...
We go first, Zolesh interrupts. Quick, quiet. We scout, we learn. Then we come back. Tell them what we find. Make them mission safer, smarter.
Put that way, it almost sounds responsible. Almost. It's risky, I say, but I can hear the wavering in my own voice. Zolesh nods, his expression serious.
Life be risk, Yoren, but this can save lives. You tribe, my tribe, everyone.
I take a deep breath, weighing everything in my mind. The danger, the potential, the responsibility. Finally, I meet Zolesh's gaze. Okay, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Let's do it. When do we leave?
A night, Zolesh says. When the village sleep. We go, we scout, we come back for anyone know we gone.
It's reckless, it's dangerous. It goes against everything Tornu has taught me about caution and balance, but it also feels necessary. Vital, maybe. Okay, I say, the word feeling heavy on my tongue. I'm in. But Zolesh, if we do this, we have to be careful. We can't risk bringing danger back to the village. He nods, a grim smile on his face.
Course, we be smart, we be quick, in and out like hunting Dracolith.
As we part ways, my mind is a whirlwind of emotions. Excitement, fear, determination, doubt. Am I making the right choice? Or am I letting my desire for adventure cloud my judgment? And Kyra. We swore we would do whatever came up together. And now I can't even bring myself to tell her I'm leaving the village. I just hope she can understand and forgives me. But then I think of the Council's secrecy, of the unknown threats lurking just beyond our reach. Someone has to do something. Someone has to be ready. And apparently, if the Ancient Ones really have chosen me, that someone is me. My mind spins, jumping from one thing to the next, never settling on one thought long enough for me to process it, as I find Kyra sitting by the old oak tree. My heart races, knowing what I've agreed to do with Zolesh, but also aching at the thought of keeping it from her. "Hey," I say softly, settling down beside her. Kyra turns, a small smile playing on her lips. "Hey, yourself. You look different. Everything okay?" I nod, perhaps a bit too quickly. "Yeah, just thinking about everything that's been happening. The training, the changes in the village." She studies me for a moment, her eyes searching. "There's more to it than that, isn't there?" I swallow hard, torn between the urge to confide in her and the need to protect her. I've been thinking about what's out there, beyond our borders." Kyra's eyes widen slightly. "You mean, you're not thinking of actually going out there, are you?" No, I lie, hating myself for it. "Just wondering. With all this new training, all these changes, it makes you think about the bigger world, you know?" She nods slowly, but I can see the doubt in her eyes. "I guess it does. But Yoren, you know how dangerous it is out there. We've lost so much already." Her words twist the knife of guilt in my gut. "I know," I say softly. I feel like we need to understand what we're up against, to be prepared." Kyra's quiet for a moment, picking at a blade of grass. "You're right," she says finally, "but we need to be smart about it. We can't just rush out there blindly." I feel a surge of affection for her wisdom and her care. For a moment, I'm tempted to tell her everything, about the Council's plans, about my agreement with Zolesh, about how much she means to me. But the words stick in my throat. Instead, I say, "You're amazing, you know that? The way you've handled everything. I don't know if I could be that strong." Kyra looks up, surprised, and something else, something warmer, in her eyes. "You are strong, Yoren, in your own way. And I'm glad we have each other to lean on." I nod, my heart aching with the weight of my secrets. "Me too. Whatever happens, whatever changes come, I'm glad you're here." As we sit in companionable silence, watching the hustle and bustle around the village, I can feel Kyra's eyes on me. There's a question there, unasked, but palpable. She knows I'm hiding something, I'm sure of it. But she doesn't push, doesn't demand answers I'm not ready to give. And that, somehow, makes it both easier and harder to bear the weight of what's to come. As we eventually stand to head back to our huts, Kyra catches my hand. "Yoren," she says, her voice soft but intense, "whatever you're planning, just be careful, okay? We've lost too much already. I couldn't bear to lose you, too." I squeeze her hand, fighting back the urge to confess everything. "I will, I promise," meaning it with every fiber of my being. "You won't lose me, Kyra. I swear it." As we part ways, the weight of my decision settles heavily on my shoulders. I'm doing this to protect her, to protect all of them. But as I glance back and see her silhouette, I can't help but wonder, am I making the right choice? Or am I risking everything, including the chance for something more with Kyra, for a reckless adventure? Only time will tell, and time, it feels, is quickly running out. The flickering light of the small fire in my hut casts dancing shadows on the walls as I sit cross-legged on the floor in the middle of the day. My eyes are closed, fists clenched so tight my nails dig into my palms. "Come on, show yourself." I've been at this for hours, trying everything I can think of to summon the strange power that's coursed through me when the Dracolith attacked me, Tornu, and Zolesh in the forest. But now, nothing. "Weka," I whisper, my voice hoarse from hours of muttering. "If you're listening, if you gave me this, whatever it is, please, show me how to use it." Silence, just the crackle of the fire and the distant sounds of the village. I switch tactics. "Roan, creator of all, guide my hands. Pili, lend me your wisdom. Grodd, grant me the strength to protect our people." Still nothing. I even consider calling out to Tuck, but the thought of drawing the attention of the Ancient One of Death sounds a chill down my spine. Nope, better to leave that one alone. Plus, that bastard took Chiron and Norn. Fuck him. Frustration bubbles up inside me. Why won't it work? What am I doing wrong? I take a deep breath, trying to recall the sensation of power flooding through me, the strange words that echoed in my mind. Or did I speak them aloud? I don't even know, and that's as frustrating as void. "Heck, mech, something," I mutter, stringing together random syllables. "Dekro, shekro, fu." Nothing, not even a tingle. I hold my breath until my lungs burn, willing my body to do something, anything supernatural. But all that happens is I get lightheaded and have to gasp for air. "Tuck, take it!" I shout, slamming my fist into the ground. Pain shoots up my arm, but at least it's something I can understand. Unlike whatever the void is happening to me. As I sit there panting, my mind races. There has to be a connection between these powers, and the sudden appearance of Dracoliths and other monsters in our lands. But what? And why me? A horrifying thought creeps in, one I've been trying to push away. What if this is Vortual's doing? What if he's trying to sow chaos across Alara? And if that's true, does that mean Weka chose me to fight back? To be some kind of champion? I shake my head, trying to dislodge the idea. No. I'm just me. Just Yoren. A twig. Just a kid who's in way over his head. I can't be some chosen one. I can't even make this damn power work when I want it to. But if not that, then what? Why are our lands suddenly unsafe? Why do I sometimes have the strength to fight off monsters, and other times I can barely lift a spear? I slump back against my bed frame inside my hut, exhaustion settling over me like a wet wolfskin cloak. Whatever's happening, whatever these powers are, I have to figure it out. Our people's lives might depend on it. But as I sit there, staring into the dying embers of the fire, I can't shake the feeling that I'm woefully unprepared for whatever's coming, and that terrifies me more than any Dracolith ever could. The day drags on endlessly, each moment feeling like an eternity. My mind races with thoughts of tonight's secret expedition, making it nearly impossible to focus on anything else. I go through the motions of my daily routine, cleaning fish, boiling water, delivering Melnin's herbs and poultices, all while my heart pounds with a mix of excitement and dread. As the afternoon sun begins to dip towards the horizon, I find myself wandering towards Tornu's hut. The weight of my secret presses down on me, making each step feel heavier than the last. Should I tell him? The question gnaws at me, a constant battle between loyalty and the burning need to act. Before I can decide, Tornu emerges from his hut, his eyes immediately locking onto mine. There's something in his gaze, a mixture of pride and melancholy that catches me off guard.
Yoren,
he calls, his voice carrying a hint of, is that wistfulness?
Come, sit with me.
I obey, settling onto a log beside him. For a moment we sit in silence, watching the village bustle around us. When Tornu finally speaks, his words are not what I expected.
You've changed, Yoren,
he says softly, mirroring his thoughts from the other night, but with more confidence than before. His eyes scan my face as if seeing it for the first time.
These past weeks, it's like watching a sapling turn into a sturdy oak overnight.
I shift uncomfortably, unsure how to respond. I don't feel that different. Tornu chuckles, but there's a sadness in it.
No, I suppose you wouldn't. But I see it. The way you carry yourself, the look in your eyes. You're not the boy who begged me for stories anymore. You're becoming a man.
His words stir something in me, a mix of pride and an unexpected pang of loss. Am I really so different? Is that a bad thing? I ask, my voice uncertain. Tornu shakes his head, a small smile playing at his lips.
No, not bad. Just different. It's the way of things, I suppose. We raise our young, teach them all we can, and then we have to let them find their own path.
I feel a lump forming in my throat. Does he know what I'm planning? Is this his way of giving me his blessing? Uncle, I begin, my voice hesitant. How do you know when someone's ready to find their own path? Tornu's eyebrows raise slightly.
An interesting question. I suppose you never truly know. Readiness isn't just about skill or knowledge. It's about understanding the consequences of your actions and being willing to face them.
His words hang in the air between us, heavy with unspoken meaning. Does he know? Is this his way of warning me?
But,
Tornu continues, his voice softening,
sometimes we must act even when we don't feel ready. The world doesn't always wait for us to be prepared.
I nod, my mind whirling. Is he giving me his blessing, or setting me up for a harsh lesson?
Yoren,
Tornu says, placing a hand on my shoulder.
Whatever happens, be careful. Remember what I taught you about balance, and know that not all battles can be won with strength alone.
My heart races. He knows. He must know. But he's not stopping me. Why? I will, I manage to say, my voice barely above a whisper. Thank you, Uncle. As I stand to leave, Tornu's voice stops me one last time.
And Yoren, remember, the greatest strength often lies in knowing when to ask for help.
I meet his gaze, seeing the mixture of pride, worry, and resignation in his eyes. I could tell him. Right now, I could tell him. He's left it wide open for me. If he knows, he's probably testing to see if I'll open up to him. But if he doesn't know, For a long moment of silence, his words hang in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. The weight of my secret presses against my chest, threatening to burst forth. I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what I'm about to say. Uncle, I begin, my voice barely above a whisper. There's something I need to tell you. Suddenly, a commotion erupts from the village center. We both turn to see Caldo, our master fisherman, running towards us, his face flushed with exertion.
Tornu, Yoren,
He calls out, slightly out of breath.
Ansel has called for a full tribal meeting. Everyone's to gather immediately.
Tornu's eyebrows furrow for a brief moment before giving way to a crafty smirk.
A full tribal meeting? That's unusual. Did he say what it's about?
Caldo shakes his head.
No, but he seemed, I don't know, excited? Nervous? It's hard to tell with Ansel sometimes.
I feel a mix of relief and frustration wash over me. The moment to confess has passed, slipping away like water through my fingers. But what could this meeting be about? A cold knot of dread forms in my stomach as I wonder if our plans have somehow already been discovered. Shit. Tornu stands, his joints creaking slightly.
Well, we'd better not keep him waiting. Come, Yoren.
As we make our way to the village center, I can't help but feel like I'm walking a tightrope. On one side, the secret I almost revealed to Tornu. On the other, this mysterious meeting. And me? I'm stuck in the middle, trying desperately to keep my balance. As we join the gathering crowd, I catch Zolesh's eye across the throng of people. His expression mirrors my own mix of curiosity and apprehension. One thing's for sure. Our plans for tonight might have just gotten a lot more complicated.